Welcome back. Conversation as of late has been centered on the amount given in support in the case of child maintenance and also the penalty attached to delinquent parents unable to pay the fee. Solange Alfred took to the streets to get the public's opinion on this topical matter.
With the child maintenance issue making headlines, the question has arisen whether the sum of $125 to $200 is substantial to maintain a child, and also whether the penalty of 3 months imprisonment at the Bodley Correctional Facility really does more harm than good. So we posed the question to you, the public, and this is what you had to say.
I think that the amount that is put towards child maintenance, that is legally put towards child maintenance and required, is woefully inadequate, even if we take into consideration the issues of poverty that we face on St. Lucia. We have a lot of poverty on St. Lucia, yes. However, that amount is woefully inadequate, and I wish that it would be reflected as far as the person's income is concerned and the needs of their child. We know that there are people who could afford a lot more than that and whose children are accustomed to a lifestyle that requires a lot more than that amount of money. However, if you have somebody who has a very basic job and can barely put $100 together, it stands within reason that you request from them what they can afford or what can be garnished from their salary. And I think that is one of the solutions we can look at. Speaking as a single mother, it is very satisfying to be able to say you're going to jail if you don't pay my child support. That is very satisfying. However, long term, it does not really suit because it just creates animosity between, the parents of the child, which is not necessary. It also prevents the spouse who's not paying that money from earning that money because you're in jail. Some people are in jail from losing are in jail and can lose their job from just losing 1 day of work. So it's really not fair to deny somebody from a job because they haven't paid. Again, garnishing somebody's salary is one way to go. Maybe we could look at an automatic thing that is taken off their salary, speak to the employers, etc. That to me makes more sense than sending somebody to jail where they cannot really contribute that much.
Well, personally, the amount of 300 or less is not enough, especially in the economy that we're in right now. Second, it has a lot to do with also the financial support that the parents can give. But sending a person to jail is not the right thing because you will get that on your record if I'm correct. So to have a criminal record and that you are trying to apply for a job or trying to advance yourself in society because you couldn't pay your child support is not fair, especially you need the money to pay for your child support eventually. So I believe maybe something else should change. Maybe teaching, parenting, something else should be implemented but not jail. And second, $300 is not enough in the economy we're in. I mean, just going to the supermarkets and buying groceries, $300 is nothing. It's probably a few days or 5 days. So mathematically, we need to do something better.
If you know you don't want to have a child, do not go where the children are. You do not want to buy anything in the shop, what are you going to do there? Just window shopping? You can stay outside and do that. All right? Good. That's what I do. I window shop. I stay outside and I look at the show window and see what is on the inside. I don't look for children because I know I cannot take care of.
Don't pay child support? Yeah, they should be arrested. But if the government have a place to get you a job so you could pay child support. If they get, like in America, they have places you could go and get a job and they take the money off of the job and they pay you so your children could get something. But if they have nowhere, you are working, the government is giving you work, how could they give you jail for child support? When you come out the money, you are still there. It doesn't make no sense. It's just a cycle, just up and down. Fathers will take jail because it's hard.
I am one man that does not condone any man not feeding their children. I believe it is abuse and it is a crime not to feed a child. But it's the government of St. Lucia must be in a position to create jobs and look for better avenues than to send everybody to jail and then to get the men to feed their children. In my humble opinion, what would I do? I would create jobs for the person that is not feeding the child, make sure I get a job for them, and then I would deduct monies I think that is acceptable or that can make the mother or mothers in a better area to feed the child. But however, I don't believe it is fair for women in St. Lucia going around just making children all over the place to feed on this kind of subsidies. Because I believe, in my humble opinion, you have to look at the environment in St. Lucia schooling and everything like that, how costly this thing is, and to go around and making sure, and if everybody you meet and expect you'll have a good life. And I think a lot of the women in St. Lucia, they use this as a way of bringing money to their pocket. So while I believe I don't condone this kind of nonsense, but I believe the young people or the persons making children in St. Lucia must be more selective in what they do so that their children can have a good education and we could afford to sponsor and send more children to college.
There you have it. Some with more questions than answers and some with some viable solutions. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Friday the 23rd of August is a very special day for two young St. Lucian writers as their play A Little Folk Tale is performed at Carifesta 14 in Trinidad and Tobago. The cast of A Little Folk Tale has been rehearsing enthusiastically for St. Lucia's biggest night at Carifesta 14. It's an even bigger occasion for the play's two young St. Lucian writers, 20-year-old Monique Auguste and 19-year-old Jessie Myers. Their masterpiece, A Little Folk Tale, started as a secondary school project highlighting St. Lucian folk characters.
We started off as an improv I did in secondary school in a theatre arts class, and it was basically about this book that whatever you write in the book, it comes to life.
The play brings into focus four famous St. Lucian folk characters, their stories passed down from generation to generation.
The background stories of St. Lucian folklore characters, the Lajables, the Sukuyo, Kokma, and Tiboloms.
A Little Folk Tale became a theatre production at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College when Monique was asked to write a play for the school. She reflected on the secondary school research project and the many folk tales that excited her imagination over the years.
Growing up, I heard stories about in theatre arts through my grandmother, and I noticed not many people pass on these stories anymore. So I thought it would have been a good topic to highlight.
It was at this stage Monique teamed up with Jessie Myers, then a stage manager, to write and produce the play, now getting international attention at Carifesta 2019.
We had a lot of fun writing the play. We mesh really well together. We have a very similar sense of humor, a similar writing style. So sitting down with Monique was always fun.
It's a very exciting experience, I would say, and humbling, because like Jessie said, this started off as a very small project for Drama Club. A lot of heart and effort was put into this, and we really didn't expect it to go so far.
Monique Auguste and Jessie Myers are hoping their exciting journey so far and the play itself will inspire young writers to explore their culture and to keep writing.
One, I would advise the young artists and writers to go out there and create content, because the reason why I think this play was so well received was that it was kind of written with a young voice, but it also bridges a gap between the older generation. And I feel like sometimes we feel like we're not represented because, of course, our Nobel laureates and everyone before us wrote plays, but sometimes people find it difficult to identify with. So I would advise them to go out there, use your voice, don't give up.
A Little Folk Tale was commissioned by the Cultural Development Foundation after director Drenia Frederick spotted its potential and cross-generational appeal. Magicians, clowns and BMX bike rallies will look to enthrall the paying public at the staging of the Suarez Brothers Circus to be held at Malabar Beach. The event, scheduled to start on the 24th of August at 8 p.m., brings to St. Lucia one of the world's oldest circuses.
What can I expect? 1,000 loaves. That's what I expect. Enjoy, and we present a culture, right? Because we're gonna make in culture, a circus culture in every country we do it. They can expect a real good show for 2 hours, because this is a show class A. So everybody's going to join. Any minute of the show, the people are going to join.
And how long will this circus be here in St. Lucia for?
Well, we pretend to stay here like a month. Yeah, almost a month.
Why did you all decide to come to St. Lucia to have this circuit? Is it a demand or is it because you're good at St. Lucia? Why you all decide?
Well, we tried to come into St. Lucia like 13 years ago, the second time, and like 20 years ago, the first time. But for many reasons, we can't bring the circle. But now we decide to come in because we making the tour for all the Caribbean, and we include St. Lucia for the first time in our tour.
And I suppose, are the citizens excited to come to St. Lucia? Coming.
Well, actually, I see that's what's the word in English? What we say in Spanish, reciprocal. You feel it and I feel it, because when we start to get all the permits and we visit the radio station and everything, so everything is so excited about the circle, and we are so excited because we see the excitement of the people. So we are so excited for a start and show what we got.
What's the cost for coming to this?
Well, we got 3 different sections. There's going to be a general site. That's going to be 35 EC for adult and 25 EC for kids. Then we have a middle section. It's going to be 50 for adults and 35 for kids. And VIP is 70 for adults and 35 for 50 for kids.
You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. Up next, sports news with Tennyson Glasgow.